Hi everyone, how you doing today? Great day. Start trading a little later, right? As you can see right here, 13:15 news. So I'm just gonna hide that now that it's not in my face. All right. So 13:15 news, pretty decent. And what we've seen at the moment from the day, let's say, show you guys the SMT real quick. Well, you won't see it quickly here. So I'll just show you guys on my hourly chart right here. You're just gonna have to trust my faith because I don't want to mess up with my charts. We have SMT right here, as well as more recent SMT at this level right here. So we've had plenty of SMT for today, telling you that it's pretty much just consolidating. We also currently have SMT on the highs. So we've just been search and destroy, but that's what happens, and that's why you don't trade before Powell speaks. And of course, there's a bunch of ways, right? You could just be scalping and get a great trade just before Powell speaking, but I don't want to be scalping. On days where I have to, because it's low probability, I will. But now it's not a low probability day. It's low probability until 1:15, right? So we'll be waiting for that for sure. But definitely what I'm looking for after taking all of this low resistance liquidity. Here, I'll actually get out of this layout real quick. This is my trading layout, granted by 2 degrees. Very awesome. But right here, if I go to my IPDA, you can see it right now. You can see the also the SMT on the highs right here. Let me just mark it out. What I wanted to see was a retracement into this fair value gap. I still want to see that. So depending on the Judas swing from the news, we'll see where it goes. But more specifically, right now, what I'm looking for is a Judas swing to go take out the lunch lows, but stop at that level. So I'm not going to be looking for it to go past that specific level. And see, we just took out the previous lower time frame SMT we had at this level right here. ES took it. This is ES, by the way. You can't see it right now here. Let me just put that on the top right instead. My little boxes. So this is ES. We took out this level. Same level on Nasdaq right here, which we did not at the time, but we just did now, right? I was looking at this time specifically. But I'm going to be looking for a lunch trade pretty much. And that 115 Judas swing, it would be best, in my opinion, if we go lower and then we can trade a retracement into that 4-hour fair value gap that I currently have marked out. Let me just show you guys the 4-hour fair value gap divided into eighths, since it is such a big fair value gap. I'm going to be looking at that. There's also a tiny little guy right here. Tiny little fair value gap on ES that the bodies seem to be respecting. So I am expecting ES to remain the weaker asset as SMT shows us. But I would like to trade along on Nasdaq. The other option is if this SMT holds or creates the same SMT, right? With the Judas swing, I'm going to be looking short instantly, and that's just a continuation towards our other objectives. But if I look real quick at a weekly chart, you'll see that there's nothing at this level. I don't see us respecting this wick and continuing higher. I want to see us go and take out at least the IPDA 40 lows, but any time we're going to take out these lows and not take out these, it's just inducement. It just means that liquidity will be stronger, much stronger. So final objective for now is going to be this order block, which I am actually going to mark out. I just have this little setup right here. So bullish order block on my weekly chart, and I'm also going to mark out consequent encroachment of it. OCE, that is 16992.25. I prefer to just do it manually, it's a pain. So 16992.25. It's a pain to try and get perfect if you don't do it like that. And I'll just say plus order block CE. Well, let me use the right words for once. Weekly time frame. Awesome. By the way, I'm always looking up at chat, so if you guys have any questions or any additions to it, what you guys are seeing, don't be scared to just share it with the class, you know? And I'm also gonna be eating my little apple real quick. So don't ask too many questions. Oh, did that just flip? Yes, it did. And just to give you guys a little rundown, I have 1 minute, 15 second, 5:15. I just switched between 1 and 4. I just switched between, and that's my ES, same layout as this. So we took out the liquidity I was looking at. That's beautiful. Now we're just placing higher. I could look for a continuation short from this. By the way, I choose my days pretty easily, alright, for doing these live charting sessions. It's simple. It's days that I don't think much will happen. Alright? Yeah, very juicy apple. But I choose days that I don't think much will happen because I don't want to be trading live. I'm not used to that at all. So I want to take that experience with you guys, just to learn myself to be comfortable with trading in front of other people and especially sharing ideas live because they won't always work. And especially if I'm not used to doing it, I don't want my ideas to not work more often than they do publicly, right? Because I'm sharing my trades. I'm sharing my trades after the fact, right? I show my executions and they're perfect. But once I get in front of other people, it's definitely a whole different game. But choose days like these, days that just showed, which is search and destroy pretty much. That's all we've done today, right? I can go back to my 1 minute chart and just look, and all we've been doing is taking out both sides of the range the whole day. We had one nice SMT at this level, which you could have traded a nice low resistance liquidity run to these equal highs right here. But still, that's a 100 handle move when we've been having 500 handle days for the past week or so. So I'm not interested in those at the moment. But as I said, I'm going to be prioritizing a lunch trade as for drawn liquidity. So perfectly, actually, we could see a nice little move into this fair value gap due to swing higher into this 1 hour fair value gap. I want to see a setup form in this level, take this entry all the way to lunch lows, and as you can see, failure swings right here, all low resistance liquidity. That's where I'm prioritizing right now, but we'll see how the Judas swing goes. And if it's not clean enough, I'll just be waiting for 2 p.m. power of 3. So I'll be waiting for the 2 p.m. 4-hour candle to start and seeing for an open low high close and vice versa, right? Open high low close depending on where we are within premium and discount. Time and price. That's all it is, guys. Time and price. I've been recording this, but I've been recording my SMT screen. That's pretty bad. I don't know who's going to be watching this on YouTube, but you're going to have a good laugh. Alright, let's test you guys real quick. What's the number one thing you need as a trader? And we're talking psychology right now. Number one thing. Not just considering everything psychology. So I'm not talking about your technical edge. I'm not talking about your trading edge. I'm saying specifically psychology. What is the number one attribute that successful traders have? Confidence? Fuck no. A bunch of people lose and are very confident while losing. They're like, oh yeah, look at me. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Exactly. Yeah, okay, Charles, discipline, but I feel like discipline involves too many things. But yeah, Jordan, Flacco, whatever. Patience. You said it best. Patience. If I only want to be trading when I have the most chances of winning, I need to be patient enough to wait for those conditions to arrive. Right? So right now, I feel like we're going to be just watching the charts, watching what they do. But we'll see, right? But it is patience I was looking for. We need a trader to be patient. You need to be able to wait for your setup to come, because you're never going to be profitable until you submit to the markets. Right? I really like this phrase, which I believe ICT said. I don't remember where I heard that specifically, but it's you take what the markets provides. Nothing else. That's it. Right? I can't choose to be trading a move today. That's not how it works. I look for the conditions, and when time and price align, I want to be trading. That's it. All right. With Powell speaking, I'm going to be giving it also a second to just calm the fuck down after he starts speaking. So he starts speaking at 15:15. Let's just mark it out with the red arrow. I'm going to be giving 5 to 10 minutes. So I'll see how it is at 5 minutes in, because it's not like a regular news, if we can say it like that, right? It's Powell just getting on a mic and speaking, which is the worst possible thing for the algo with all this incoming liquidity in the market. I would like to see Nasdaq take out this high, because as you can see from ES right here, that's forming SMT. And I don't like that. I don't want SMT to be formed right here this early. So I'd like to see that run through. That's my news indicator. Let's get that shit light a little smaller. There we go. Oh well, now we just can't see it. Call it a medium. See, on a regular news, I'd be seeing this with the SMT above. I'd be like, oh, that's not going to hold. This order block is going to hold. This fair value gap is going to hold price, and we're going to be going higher. So on a regular news, I'd be looking for this to hold and then taking a trade off of an inverse somewhere in this range. But we are not in a regular news. We are with Powell speaking. Oh, I don't want to see this SMT hold, as I said. That would create a ranging market. I don't want to see that. So right now we're just tape reading, right? Because as Flacco said, patience. Right? I'm waiting for price to be clear. Right now price isn't clear, right? Just look at my 1 minute chart right here. That's not clear. Okay, we consolidated, taking out both sides. Cool. Now we're just trading within a range. We've been trading within this range for the whole lunch, which is fine, right? For lunch. But now I want to see it get out of that range. And how will it do that? Well, we need manipulation. So we need manipulation in one way and then distribution in the other. So right now, as I said, I'm really concentrating on seeing a nice lunch trade. That would be the best. And then all of this low resistance liquidity right here. I'd want to see it tap into the 1 hour fair value gap though. Let's go look at a 15-minute chart real quick. Probably so, yeah, it's such a tight range today. There's not much. One thing I spot right away though is this liquidity right here, so I'm gonna mark that out. This 15-minute liquidity, which formed the low of the 1 hour fair value gap. I'm gonna be looking for that. We could sweep our current AM highs and then displace lower to go get all of these relative equal lows. The only thing that could invalidate such a thing is SMT. I'm going to be looking at that more specifically. I'm going to stop marking out this because this automatic OTA is marking out my lunch high and low. Not on purpose, I just do it manually. So see, I just pointed it out. Marks out the low, gives you the most recent high up to that. Well, the highest high up to that. I don't want to see this hold right here. Okay. Or I might be looking for it to swing higher then, which would be amazing if it just starts doing it, right? That's why you skip through all the fuss. I'm probably gonna give it 10 minutes here, actually. Uh, 10 minutes, meaning 13:25. I'll just be waiting for 1:30 then. So we might be sitting here for the next 12 minutes just looking at 15-second candle prints for no reason. That is a very big possibility. That's not what I want. I want to change the indicator. By the way, all the indicators you see on my chart are all to the grays. Pretty amazing. Your price would need to expand higher now. Let's see how heavily manipulated it is. Right, because what am I looking at? I'm looking at this 1 minute order block right here. I want to see price expand to go take out this current SMT, which on ES, as you can see, same line being drawn right here. Here, actually, even worse. So right now, I'd drawn back all the way here. But if I draw it the same way, right here, you can see this high took out that line on ES. That's how I look for SMT easily, by the way, if you want to look at it quickly. That's the best way. I always draw lines on correlated swings in correlated assets. And looking at ES 15-minute chart, right now there's big SMT, as I said, on the highs. So here I'll show you guys, right, how, well, here, actually, you know what? We'll go in something better. So just looking at the hourly chart, right, you can see right here, this big divergence right now. So it's going to be difficult to see which one is going to expand and which one isn't. But to me, these SMTs at the lows, more specifically this one, has to hold. And of course, Nasdaq took it, well, ES took it out. So technically the SMT would be here with ES being lower and here with Nasdaq being higher. I'm looking at this more specifically, but this should hold to me. That's very strong SMT. So we might be looking to long more so off ES than on Nasdaq. As you can see though, we created a nice wick with this hourly order block that was the retracement, right? And we respected this fair value gap. Here, I'm gonna draw it out to you guys, just so you can see what I'm seeing. So I'm looking at this inefficiency. Of course, we've been consolidating within it. That's to be expected with Powell speaking in the afternoon. But this inefficiency holding for now would be a great sign that we are going to continue higher towards this fair value gap. And I'm looking at the 4-hour fair value gap. And as I explained yesterday in the price action review, I'm going to have my 1-hour chart right here to be more precise with said things. So right here, these levels I have are the hourly fair value gap, while I'm also looking at the 4-hour fair value gap. So as you can see, all we've been doing, ranging higher. So nothing special for now. We've just been consolidating. So let's see a nice manipulation move higher. We might be waiting, as I stated, for 130. All right, waiting for what? Waiting for time. So we'll see how that goes. For taking any trade, I need SMT and displacement. So we'll see where that leads us. I'm sorry, guys, as I said, I'm just eating at the same time. Got a few muffins and an apple right here. That is all very low resistance right here. Yeah, exactly. It's just going to expand through. Anyways, it's just ranging right now, so nothing not to be expected. Juicy apples back. Hmm. I don't want to talk with my mouth full. Sorry, guys. Here, as I said, I don't expect much from today after large range days and all the search and destroy earlier. So let's use this as our learning opportunity. Nice, exactly as I spotted. I want to see this SMT break, and it did. That's amazing. So on that note, just look at this range, right? This OTE, right? EQ right here. See, we created the range, and then all we've been doing is returning to fair value nonstop, consolidating, returning to EQ, consolidating, returning to EQ right here. Same things right here from this future range, of course, at that specific time. But see, we've only been engineering liquidity. So when I say engineering liquidity, that is what I mean. Let's see. So, okay. Yes, not taking out those highs for some reason. We are truly in a ranging market on this specific day. I don't see I don't see price stopping after just sweeping this. I would like to see it continue higher, go take out lunch highs. At least for a setup, right? Right now you could trade a tiny little scalp and maybe try and target these relative equal lows, but am I trying to trade 14 handle moves? No. My average stop is 13 handles. Well, 12.75, but still. So I'm just going to be waiting for something cleaner. I'm actually going to put a line at 1330. I'm going to look for 1330 Judas swing. I'm going to remove all of this. Yeah, exactly what I meant, right? We're going to keep going higher here. High resistance. We might go back down and sweep these lows before we continue higher. It's a pretty big draw. But I'm looking for launch high right here to be taken out. And best case scenario, I could see the 15-minute liquidity into the hourly fair value gap before seeing a setup form. If not, I'm going to be skipping the first entry and waiting for displacement. But if I get all of these conditions, 130 brings us up here, taking out this liquidity into the hourly fair value gap, which are these tiny levels you can see right here. And we see displacement away on a shorter time frame. Unicorn, I'm going to be taking that trade. So we're clearly going to be heading here, right? Or are we going to induce it for a fourth time? Or a third time, technically, for inducement. We'll see. I feel like I need to find something to do during these times right now. See, because right now we're just waiting as a group. You guys got any ideas on this? Well, I'll take that as a no. We'll just be waiting then while I eat my muffins. Hmm. Currently looking at SMT. seeing how we're such in a tight range and we just keep inducing liquidity. That's pretty rough. As I said, a lunch trade is what I'm looking for on ES and on Nasdaq. If we could take out current AM highs at the same time, even better. Here, I marked them out. That's a lunch high for you guys right here. I believe, right? Yeah. And then we have a 15-minute liquidity into the order block and current AM highs. Into the fair value gap, sorry. And current AM highs are right here. Yes, 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 yes. That's a great question. I'm gonna repeat it for the people who are gonna be watching this on YouTube, hopefully. Um, Flacco just asked, if a setup presents itself, will you be on a low risk protocol, knowing this is an afternoon trade? Yes, but not because it is an afternoon trade, right? It's just like when you're doing your analysis, you want to take all here. Let me just put the music down on my music because that's pretty fucking loud. All right, there we go. So, well, actually, no, that's still too loud. Sorry, I can't concentrate with that shit. Oh, there we go. All right, so it's just like when you're doing a top-down analysis. You want to look at all the time frames, and of course, you're going to use one more than the other, just like I use the daily more than the 4-hour. But your idea has to be in line with everything there. There we go. Low resistance liquidity run. Pretty aggressive. But just like that, I want to have all the conditions for my day be met before I can do anything, right? I just want to basically have not a too large range day beforehand, and then high probability trading day with the news, and then I understand that the AM session is higher probability than the PM. So just by taking all of these things into consideration is how you can basically have a good day where you can risk all of it. And it is why today, because those conditions are not met, that I'm not going to be doing that. Sorry, but it was kind of hard to fucking concentrate with this huge ass move. So, what is that, 180 handles? No SMT at those highs. I'm not mad of missing that shit at all. But yeah, as you can see, right, all of this low resistance liquidity forming, of course we have to go take that out. So that is pretty much my chart telling me that it's done. You got your displacement right here, no SMT on the highs, meaning that any high probability move would be to the downside. So I need to see more SMT to the downside, which is what I'm currently looking at right now on my other screen. I'm not seeing anything worthwhile, at least. What is this swing low right there? That is weird. That looks like a sweep to go target that 1 hour fair value gap. That could be something. So let's see how we interact with the inefficiencies we left for the displacement. I'm gonna remove that OT so we can see something. Yep, that seems like continuation to me, to be honest. We're gonna go dive in deeper, right? That's pretty aggressive displacement through that low. Something happened? Here. I don't know if you guys can still see my screen, but I'm looking real quick. Doesn't seem like something just happened. I don't know what Powell was saying, but here's the result. So again, with such displacement down, the only move I'd be considering now is a long to go reach for that fair value gap. Definitely. But with that move happening now, all potential targets for shorts are being taken out. Yeah, 100%. All potential targets are done. This SMT is holding, which is pretty disgusting since we didn't even dive into this fair value gap. Which means the next few days are going to be a little weird if we leave that open. We'll see, right? We'll see. Still very early. But see, we just took out this low on Nasdaq. And we also did on ES. That's going to be a weird one. ES just poured out a new lower low, though. So that's, again, more SMT. So that actually could be a good place to long into this fair value gap. I'm going to be looking for that very quickly. Okay, that's decent. As you can see, we have a change in the state of delivery right here, but we're too close to the 130 to be considering anything, in my opinion. So let's see if we respect this order block. I would need an invalidation of this. So I'm going to be looking for us to invalidate this fair value gap before I do anything, because this is big displacement through this low right here that we see, and then displacement through this low. So before I can consider a long, I want it to be more confirmed, if I can say it like that. And yes, we've taken out most of our sell side objectives here, if not all, actually. What I don't like here is that we do have higher time frame SMT, right, as we just pointed out, but we have no lower time frame SMT to confirm our idea. See, most recent low, we're in a 1 hour chart, most recent low has been taken out. You could say this is, oh well, this is lower time frame. I don't want to be looking at swing points that far apart, so I'd be looking at this, and as you can see, both of them took them out. So I would need some sort of lower time frame SMT to confirm an idea like that, which would be hard to achieve with us taking all of the recent swing points. Okay, looks like displacement away from that order block. That's awesome. Let's see how we interact with this fair value gap. And again, to just reiterate, of course you could have just entered on this order block and been happy with that, but there's no SMT, there's no nothing. You could have traded a small external to internal move, which is actually decent handles. But since I have a public right now, I'm going to be concentrating on more higher probability trades. That's interesting. That's our premium inefficiency. So that gives us all the information we need. If we inverse this fair value gap also, that gives me all the information I need. That's beautiful. Okay. I'm going to be looking to take a trade off of this. And again, not financial advice. I don't wish for you guys to follow my trades. I'm just saying what I am going to be doing, sharing this path with you guys. Let's see us dig into this. Yeah, I'm going to scale in one contract here. Since we do have this level, these equal levels down here, I'm going to have my stop loss pretty far away under this level, actually at mean threshold of this. So I'm not going to be scaling in too much risk since this is a very wide stop to start off. This dig into this fair value gap is actually beautiful though, so I can already bring my stop tighter. I'm just going to wait for more information here. I'm going to see us inverse this 1 minute fair value gap. Let's see how we interact with that. Let's inverse this. I don't want to see us hold on these fair value gaps, this fair value gap right here. So I'm actually, if this inverted fair value gap doesn't get respected, I don't want to be in this trade. So I'm going to have my stop at this level, which was the previous swing. So this was a mitigation block that we are not respecting. So I don't want us to go back to this specific level, which allows for a dig into this fair value gap, this 1 minute fair value gap. I'm going to clean up the chart a little for now. I don't necessarily like us disrespecting this wick, but again, as I said, what I need to see respected is this, which is not a fair value gap, this inverted fair value gap right here. This inverted fair value gaps alongside this fair value gap right here is what I want to see respected. So let's look at that. As I said, I'm only putting one contract because this trade is not the highest probability entry at all. So let's see where that goes. Is there SMT at the highs that I missed? Because it seems like it's just running to my stop right now. That's digging way too deep into this fair value gap. That's not gonna hold. Still have rules in place, so I cannot just leave my trade there and just stop, but it is what it is. No, actually, there's no SMT at all. So again, just another example of what low probability looks like. If we inverse this, I'm going to use this to scale in another entry. So that would bring additional defense to my position. Not having a bottom wick here, though, is not pretty at all. Again, I'm not recommending to beginners to be looking at 15-second charts, but that's what I do. Right now, I'm only seeing a continuation lower. This is very inefficient, so I'm going to have my stop put at this level, which is 17,864.75. So 17,864.75 right here, the swing low. Because what we seem to be forming right now is just consolidation, a high resistance retracement higher. This is actually very pretty though, so I'm actually going to add another contract. As I say that, we dig in deeper. 2 contracts with this amount of handle risk. As you can see, my entry is at 84.5. I have a 22 handle risk. I'm happy with playing 2 contracts on this. Yeah, disrespecting this inefficiency definitely pushes us way lower towards these lows. Yeah, that seems like a stop if I've ever seen one. So again, 130 due to swing lower. This invalidation of this 1 minute fair value gap tells me that, hey, I would like to see us expand higher. So I'm not mad with this trade. Low leverage. It could not stop me out, but I would expect to stop out at this level. But as I just stated, I'm still happy with this trade. To me, that was a good trade. Low leverage, of course, because of how much lower probability it is. But I'm still happy with this trade, as I stated. Trading the strongest asset. Seems like it's going up. I'm not taking any money out before this level, right, that we just induced right here. So unless it heads to that level, well, if I see SMT form, I'm going to take money out, which is pretty much what's going on right now. We can see that Nasdaq and ES, well, ES is taking out these highs right here. Here, I'll just point it out for you guys right here. Sorry if I'm going quick, but that's how quick my mind goes when I trade. We've just closed through that on my 15, but I want to see a close through on my 1. Because see how that bottom wick, we didn't really put up a low at that level? That's going to be a big objective later on. Yeah, it's sad, but it's too early to take profits. I'm actually just going to scale up my stop loss, 17,868.75. Going to have that put up, 868.75, which is this swing low, by the way, right here. This is low resistance. If we break this, we break this. So I want to see this fair value gap hold, telling me that I'm very bullish. If not, as you can see from the 1 minute chart, that looks like just switch from a buy program right here to now starting a sell program. All right, I'm looking at every possible outcome here. Every possible thing that can happen, I'm anticipating, I'm getting ready, and I'm creating if-then statements in my mind. I'm actually going to take out a contract here, so sell one, because this doesn't seem very good, and I'm already up. That is 2R, by the way. For my original, I believe, I was risking 200 and then risking 450, if I'm not wrong. It's a little weird to be saying all that stuff out loud, so I could actually be wrong at the moment. And just saying bullshit about my risk, which is why I want these types of days to just learn with you guys. Seems like this fair value gap's holding for now. As you can see on a 1 minute, that's actually pretty clean. If we displace through this high, I'm actually going to be adding a contract. That's how I handle ranging days with very aggressive scalping. I just scale in, scale out, scale in, scale out. I'm going to be looking for this order block to be respected. So yeah, my stop is not moving for now. I'd like to bring it up, but I can't because I'm following rules as to where my stop loss is. and it's not allowing me, meaning what? I can't put another contract in. That's why I took one out because I wanted to scale it in, but it would be I wanted to have a certain type of risk, but that position did not allow me to have that type of risk. So take out a contract, right? That's still 450 bucks, I believe. So if the day's gonna stop like this, it's gonna stop like this, and I'm gonna be happy with what I got. If this 1 minute fair value gap and order block don't hold, I'm not gonna be in this position. So see, right now we're just retesting this inverted fair value gap. That's actually pretty nice displacement. If I can see this little 15-second order block hold, that would be beautiful. Here, I'll just mark out with a rectangle the 1 minute fair value gap. Right here, that's actually very pretty. Let's see if we can actually dig back into this. Yep, okay, so that's one more contract. And I'm gonna move my stop up now because I don't want to see us displace below this low. It can sweep it, but I don't want to see us displace below it. So I'm gonna use this 15-second fair value gap, 885.5, which actually just might be a manual stop loss right now. 885.5 is my stop. That seems way, yeah, no, that's displacement away. We're not going to be respecting this fair value gap, this 1 minute fair value gap. Let's see. If I get stopped out right here, I have a maximum risk with the 10 handles of 400 bucks. So I'd be ending break even. Well, slightly profited, but I don't count that as profit. I count that as break even. This right here, by the way, here, let me just mark it out. This is my 1 minute fair value gap that I want to see hold on my 1 minute time frame. But as we gain more insight into my 15-second time frame, it doesn't seem like it's going to hold. Had a little fake out respecting consequent encroachment, but wasn't the prettiest. Right now, it's just high resistance to the upside is what I'm seeing, so we'll see. Just retrace to a discount of our range, right? What we were looking at right here. So I mark it out. So if it has to go higher, it would be now, right? What it seems to be doing. I'm gonna move my stop to this level since it's so close, as you can see. That's 2 handles away, 886. And again, same idea as when I moved it from this low to this low. If it takes out this low, even if it's just gonna be sweeping, it's gonna go past this level, which was my stop. So I'm not interested in staying in the trade if that happens. Did we invalidate this? Yeah, we did. Okay. Do we have a reperforming? See how those top wicks are pretty aggressive while those bottom wicks aren't? We have one nice bottom wick right here, but nothing else. That's a pretty good indication that we have a hard time going up and an easy time going down, but we're just not ready to go down. After this retracement, though, we seem like we are. Yep. Alright. Pretty decent. Break even for now. I have one less opportunity because on days like this, I usually end up making mistakes when I end up break even on something like this. So as you can see, I got chopped up a little here. I didn't want to enter before because it wasn't high probability enough. And right now, because there's no SMT at those lows, this is not worthy enough of a re-entry, even though it's a pretty nice indication that we're going to be displacing above this high. So let's see where it leads us. Still looking at the same things. This fair value gap invalidation could be a possible re-entry, but still, as you can see, right? Same thing. See how that top wick formed so easily? How we have ease of going lower, but it's very hard to go higher. That tells me that right now we have a lower objective, and to me the only lower objective there could be are these equal lows right here, which if I'm looking at ES aren't equal lows. Here, let's just look at it. Aren't, oh well, yes, actually these lows right here. So until we take those out, I don't think we have much of an opportunity to go long. And it's as Jordan said best just a second ago, most of our short objectives have been taken out already. Sorry. So let's see how it goes. This inverted fair value gap not holding price would tell us one very easy thing, right? I can just put my premium and discount here and we understand what happened. Retrace to a premium before continuing lower. We'll see. Right now it's just not the prettiest price action. Stuck in a very tight range. So I'll be waiting for something a little clearer before I start clicking buttons again. Glad I got that one contract off right there, making this position a break-even trade instead of a slight losing trade. Here, I'll put my executions back afterwards. Right now, they're pissing me off in my face like that. Whenever you see lines like this, right, it's because I'm looking at SMT. So when I draw lines, I want to draw the equivalent lines on Nasdaq and ES. But here, I'll clean it up a little for now. Please, if they let me. There we go. And I'm actually gonna take this out and just mark it out as it is. If I'm not mistaken, that should be two. That seems like 2 standard deviations. Let's go see. That's 1 standard deviation of this, and should be 2 standard deviations of, where is it? I can't see right. Not this. Yeah, 2 to 2.5. Okay. Let's see how the bodies of this handle it. If there's SMT forming at any of the lows I pointed out, right, these equal lows or this, I'm going to be looking for a setup for an entry, pretty much. So right now there aren't. We took it out on both Nasdaq and ES. But what do we have right now? 1350 to 210 macro. So let's see how this macro affects price. Looks like with all this high resistance move down that it's going to flip it up. We'll see. I don't think that taking out this low is enough. These lows are way too clean for my liking. Let's see how price reacts to that then. Because as you can see from just this is 30-second chart, power of 3. As you can see right there, this is all very low resistance. We could see a huge move just like we had before and lower, right? So we're just vibing. I have my little Juice WRLD lo-fi type beats running right now. So I'm just chilling right here. Let's see where price leads us. And again, for 2 p.m., sorry, not 4:14. I'm going to be looking for a nice power of 3 move. And right now, as I stated, my objective would be higher to go reach into this fair value gap retracement into our premium and efficiency. I'm not going to be looking for a short unless we reach there because it's just going to be too late at this point. Like right now, what I'm seeing is we could keep going lower. But if we do, as I stated, it's just too late for me. I don't want to be part of that move. These equivalents on ES and Nasdaq, right? These equal lows. Seems like both of them are going to take them out. 15-second equal lows, of course. Okay. There we go. Okay. So yeah, of course, I don't consider that enough to be taken out yet, but we're going to dig back further into it. Yeah, so this seems like just a retracement, but with the inducement of this liquidity not even being into the 1 hour fair value gap, that's not a good short to me. Trading this retracement higher that could expand above these equal highs with this consolidation right here was a way higher probability move to my knowledge at least. And see, even going lower now and taking out this liquidity, I don't like us leaving all of this low resistance right here. So I think we're going to be going for that. And if we take this out, we're going to take this out, we're going to take this out. So let's see how the macro develops. See actually if we inverse this fair value gap right here, which inversing a bearish PD array is a change in the state of delivery, right? This right here, I'm looking at this could create a breaker block to later be traded, but I feel like if it goes this high into the range, it's going to take out these highs already before giving you a continuation entry on the breaker. So I'm going to be looking for an earlier entry if ever. That seems like just a continuation lower though. But again, just repeating myself, leaving those highs up here is not nice price action. So if we continue going lower right here, I'm actually, well, I'm going to stay for the 2 p.m. power of 3 just for you guys. But if we leave those highs above and we take out this low, I'm not going to be considering a trade. That's nice that I waited so long to do that. As I said at first, those were a big objective. Now all of this low resistance, I'd be very surprised if it digs back into this fair value gap to give an entry possibility. Let's see how far we retraced. At OTE, that's fair. As I said, that was a big objective, so to be expected. Now reacting at this fair value gap, respecting this Reaper, I don't know. That's not clean. All right. Right now I have a bunch of drawings here. Let me clear it up. None of these drawings have much importance to me. Just looking at a 5-minute chart, right? Is that clean price action to you? No. Well, at least it shouldn't be. The only thing nice was this manipulation lower. Here, I'll just mark it out correctly. This manipulation lower. But see how far we're digging back into that wick? Like all of this above is just low resistance liquidity right here. So I'd be looking for a long towards that. And again, into the hourly, well, that's 50-minute, but into the hourly fair value gap. My 5-minute, we just reacted off this order block, digging lower. That seems like CE of the wick, but still, that's not pretty price action right there. So, same thing. Just waiting. Seeing if we have a clear direction develop. See, like, for example, this fair value gap is not good to me. See that top wick right here? That's telling me that, well, we went all the way up here, but digging all the way back into this, that's way too deep. Unless there's divergence at that level, I'm not going to be considering placing a contract. If there is, I'm going to be placing one contract because I need divergence there for it to be worthy. Not respecting the 1-minute propulsion block's mean threshold though is pretty bad towards any upside ideas. So right here, I'm talking a lot, guys, about a bunch of concepts I don't know if you're familiar with or not, but I just like to say what I'm thinking when I do these, right? I'm saying everything that's going through my head, I'm sharing with you guys so that you know what's going on, right? And of course, there's a lot. I'm looking at a 15-second chart. Of course, there's going to be a lot of fucking information, right? But you don't need all that. So if this is actually hindering you, then just leave, right? Right now, there is divergence at this level, so I'm actually going to be placing one quick scalping contract. My invalidation point is the low of this fair value gap right here. It's pretty wide stop again, 30 handles or so. But this stop loss will be traded right here as soon as we trade above this high, if we trade above this high. So I'm going to mitigate risk pretty quickly if that happens. But right now, what I am talking about in terms of divergence is ES did not dig in back into that same fair value gap that Nasdaq did. So technically ES is stronger, as well as YM, by the way. But so technically ES is stronger. But right now I want to concentrate on Nasdaq because based off higher time frame SMT, as we've seen, Nasdaq is stronger. And I'm concentrating on a more long-term move. It's not the prettiest if you look at the 1 minute right here. Here, I'll put my executions back. We'll see where that leads. I hope you guys aren't copy trading me, because that will not help you at all. Take note about what I'm looking at, what I'm seeing, why I'm seeing this, the if-then statements I'm making through my mind. All right, and also my risk. I'm usually putting up at least 10 contracts, scaling in, and biggest positions were around 25, 30 contracts. So right now, me trading 1 or 2 contracts, giving me, by the way, a max daily loss of $1,000 is because I understand the conditions we are in. Right, I'm looking for scalps. I'm looking for a long, as I said, right? So I'm only trading in that direction. I'm looking for a quick scalp to a specific level, which is the 1 hour fair value gap, which actually I just deleted. So I'm going to redraw the quarters, I mean, the ace. But just think about what I'm doing and specifically why I'm doing it, right? Because I'm explaining it at the same time. This is the opportunity that you guys have right now, is that I'm explaining why I'm thinking such a thing and why I'm doing such a thing. Don't create a huge wick on this candle. Just keep going in this place above this high. Now we'll just be in consolidation. All right, just looking at my 1 minute chart right here. I don't want to see a huge wick form there. I want to see displacement above that high. I want to see a close forming a fair value gap. That's beautiful. I'm going to be moving my stop actually to 17,868.5, which is the low we made into the fair value gap. Sorry if you just heard my scroll wheel pretty aggressively. And now, because I've tightened my risk like that, I'm allowed to take another contract. But that's, again, another pretty big top wick. So let's see if we trade above this high before I start adding money to a losing position. I'm going to be looking for that. So of course, I'm probably going to be missing a scaling opportunity on this fair value gap or this fair value gap, but it is not a high probability scaling opportunity at all. Let's see how far we dig into this wick. I'm going to be looking for an immediate rebalance reaction right here. And if you're unfamiliar with immediate rebalance, it's because you did not watch our weekly outlook from like 2 or 3 weeks ago, which is available on YouTube. I'll be posting a clip shortly about that, so if you're unfamiliar, you'll have that chance. Ooh, that's way too deep. Way too aggressive to the downside. That divergence does not seem like it's going to hold. That 1 minute candle is opening high, right? Open high. So unless we expand through the previous grading and order block, that's not going to be pretty at all. Yep, no, is not pretty. I would like to click X right now, but again, to make sure I never make impulsive decisions, I have rules, and I'm not allowed. And yeah, as you said, Jordan, 15-second time frame as well. That's for sure. But just to go back on what I was just starting to say, I'm not have impulsive decisions. I'm not allowed to be closing my trade prematurely before my invalidation level. So which is currently at this level right here. Because I would close out trades, I would get scared way too early. So because of that, I had to implement some specific rules. So even if now I wanted to close my trade right here, I need to get fully stopped out because that was my invalidation level, meaning that's where I was okay with losing my trade at that specific level, right? Right now I'm gonna put it up 2 ticks because we just put up swing low at this level that we're creating. So I don't want to see us trading past that because we're just gonna go again to the other one. So it's actually 69.5, which is probably going to get stopped out in a second. As we've seen right here, we're putting very big top wicks, high resistance to the upside at the moment. Yes. Oh, we have nice SMT though that I've just spotted right now. That's a very tight stop loss I currently have though for that SMT to hold, because it could form the same SMT, two more candles deeper, right? Two down close candles. But we do have SMT, right? I'll just point it out for you guys. Even with the low, that was my stop loss. So these lines right here. Here, I'll mark it out correctly. But again, it's not the prettiest. And I'm not allowed to scale in until I see us trade above this high aggressively. Because if we don't do that aggressively, I'm just going to be closing out my position. And see, that's a very good example. I wanted to close my trade right here, but I have rules in place, and I follow my rules, allowing me to see the SMT form, and now possibly to have a winning trade, right? If we expand above this high, because if we don't, that's going to be just another move down, another high resistance move down that I'm not going to live through. We'll see how this fair value gap holds. But again, just to show you the importance of rules. This seems like a pretty aggressive sweep. There's currently SMT at those highs as well. That's what happens when you're trading consolidation. You gotta filter out through the bullshit. And right now, to me, we're trying to go up to that fair value gap. Are we gonna go up now? I guess we'll see. Forming a bullish fair value gap, a bullish 1 minute fair value gap right here would be pretty decent. That would form a new invalidation level for me with that, well, where my stop currently is, but more precisely the low of this candle right here. Beautiful. All right. Let's try and interact with that high pretty aggressively. Displacement through, that would be pretty nice. Because with the bottom wick of this candle right here, that's not the prettiest. So let's see where it leads us. Just one contract. I'm happy with that, to be honest. So this is a nice low-hanging fruit, but what I'm actually looking for is the current high of day, which is the morning session high, with the inducement at 128 right here, 130, right? This is the 128 1 minute candle. That's nice displacement through that high. That's beautiful. I'm happy with that one contract. I'm going to be leaving at that one contract because we're too deep, right? If I have implied dealing range rules with this low right here, if I can't try it out, I'm just still getting used to automatic, right, chart view, where it automatically scales in and out and things like that. Just going to mark out an implied dealing range. And the low of that implied dealing range is 1718. Just so I can make it smaller. I like to do that. So 1718. Move that to the side. Quicker, please. So my students will know how I teach the implied dealing range, and my entry is even a little late for that implied dealing range, but I was looking specifically here. I'll just make a duplicate. I was looking specifically at this low when I was doing it, so that entry is valid. But past this level, which is the 0.5 level, should I mark it out? So past my 0.5 levels, there are no more scaling opportunities. There will be, but they just won't be high probability. I'll be leaving that one contract. Seeing how we retraced into this fair value gap and are pushing higher, I'm going to remove the risk from my position, because if we go back to this level, I want to see this fair value gap remain open, pretty much is what I'm saying. Just to have the same levels on ES for looking at important liquidity SMT, I'm going to have the current PM high right here. So we could sweep that and continue lower, but what I'm saying right now is clearly a nice reaccumulation phase to have a low resistance second phase. And as you can see, this huge fair value gap right here is a 15-second unicorn, which that's what I always tell my students. Higher time frame mitigation blocks are just lower time frame unicorns. I'd like to have more contracts so I could take profit one at this level, but right now I can't. So what I'm actually going to do instead is trail my stop aggressively. So this level right here, this low is 17,896. We're expanding pretty nicely. 896, sorry. We're expanding pretty nicely to the upside. We've just taken out the equal highs. I want to see 1 minute displacement through. Awesome. And now we're in the 1 hour fair value gap. Right now I'm looking very attentively to see if we are respecting it or not. Since I only have one contract, I'm going to be trailing aggressively, right? So I want to see us dig into the eighths, which are just the halves of the quarters of that fair value gap, and see how far we're going to dig into it. That nice little displacement right here grants me a stop loss right here. By placing my stop here and just waiting a second, what this allows me to do is allow for my trade to have more upside. Worst case, I get stopped out right here. And now that it's digging into it, worst case scenario is exactly like I took profit at those equal highs here. Let me mark them out correctly. Equal highs. So we'll see how far we dig into it. I don't want to be going through a retracement and continuation with a one contract position. So if I had two, I would have just take profit, stop loss, break even, let it run. But now with only seeing that, seeing a close above this, by the way, tells me it's going to the next one, so I'm still holding. I can now place my stop actually at the start of said 1 hour fair value gap and let it run. So we're up 1800 right now, 363 ticks. Pretty nice on that continuation. I would have liked for my first position to remain the big one, right, and continue scaling down here. But on low probability day, well, it's not a low probability day, but as I explained earlier during this live, it's a low risk day. I could not. On a regular day, I would have kept scaling that position instead of trailing my stop loss up. I would have allowed it to sweep this, with my stop being at mean threshold of this 15-second order block, which is the 1 minute right here. So I would have my stop here. It looks like hindsight, so believe me, or not, right, at this point. But that's where I wanted it. I believe I also said it, so that might prove against anyone that's saying this is all hindsight. But I would have kept scaling down in this, had probably around 5 contracts, six contracts, and then this would have been my final 5 contracts right here. So I would probably had around 11, 12 contracts at this point, starting to scale out at this point, and within the quarters of this. So now we're trading above this, which tells me that we're going to be going to the next quarter, right? Of course, right now I'm looking at eighths to be more precise, but I'm looking at the quarters. So I believe we're going to reach mean threshold of this fair value gap. So I'm going to leave my stop right here. I'm giving back worst case, what is that? Worst case 42 handles out of 100 handle move. So 40%, 42%, I'm okay with that. Right, it would mean this fair value gap holding and pushing price higher. We've just hit ADR levels though, third ADR, but I believe we hit that. Oh no, we did not hit that sooner. I don't see us displacing lower though. I don't see this being a Judas swing. I believe it's going to be a small range day. I should have my daily power of 3 somewhere close, but I don't. So let's just see it on this chart actually. Daily power of 3. We have a 189 handle range right now. 40 on ES. ES just took out these highs. So no more SMT on the highs. That's awesome. Right? As I said, I didn't want to see that SMT hold, so that's pretty nice. We haven't dug into the 4-hour fair value gap yet, on ES at least. But on Nasdaq we have. That could be some higher time frame divergence. I'm going to be careful and actually probably scale up my stop. But I still want to allow it. Right here I have 30-second power of 3, by the way, just so I can see my 15 and 30 seconds whenever my 15 is gapping. I still want to allow it to reach for this fair value gap right here. I want to see this remain open though. And more specifically on a 1 minute, that looks like I can allow it to dig deeper into this one and wick into this one possibly. But I want to see this one hold more specifically. So I'm happy with my stop placement. I'm going to see where it leads. Right now we just got out of the macro, right, for the past 2 minutes, specifically at this point right here. So let's see if we have a continuation of this move after our higher time frame objective is met. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see us sweep this and then displace lower, right? Creating a market structure shift. I don't want to see this happen. Which it seems like that's what it is doing. We will see. But again, as I said, my current draw right now is consequent encroachment 0.5 of the hourly fair value gap. So I'd like to see us push there. So, pretty decent day all in all, locking in a minimum of 1400, I believe. Just under a percent. I'm trading on 150K account at the moment. So see if we're displacing below this, I'm just gonna get out. Yeah, well, it's going for my stop anyways, but I just got out right here because we're displacing past this. I don't want to be part of this trade. I'm of course going to be reviewing this tonight, right? We're doing a price action review, and I'm also going to be journaling this. So actually tonight might be a great opportunity to show you guys how I journal, actually. So yeah, we're going to be doing that tonight, so don't miss it. I'm going to show you guys how I journal my trades, because yes, right now I am starting to journal all my trades because, well, you know what? I'll talk about it tonight. So on that note, I'm out for now. I do not believe there will be any good opportunities for the remainder of the day unless we get some crazy displacement down and then we just continue lower. But I took my piece of the pie, and I'm not gonna sit here with you guys for the next 2 hours looking at price high resistance consolidation, right? So on that note, I wish you guys a great fucking day, and I'll see you all tonight, hopefully, and we'll be reviewing today's price action all in all, and that specific trade, and how I journal. I'll be doing a live example with you guys. Could also share my template out there. Seeing some people typing, so I'm just waiting before I close this. Thanks, Dylan. Appreciate that. Yeah, Flacco, you're gonna have a nice journal example. I think that's the class you missed. I don't remember. Oh no, I didn't one with you and Julian actually. Okay, never mind. But on that note, guys, have a great day. Wish you all the best of luck. I hope none of you will be trading the rest of the day because as I'm seeing right now, it seems like it's not going to be the best. But you guys have a great day. Yes, yes. I'll be going more in depth about it tonight, Dylan, all right? Yeah, but to meet objectives, as you stated. Yeah, 100%. So we'll be going more in depth about exactly what happened in this trade more specifically tonight, but for now, that will be it. All right, so you guys have a great afternoon, and we'll see each other tonight.